Hey guys, welcome back to Z World News. Today's article will be about the Petro Dollar and the Petro Yuan, and how China is coming up with a new program where the world is going to be able to buy oil for gold, as where the current world order right now is you need the U.S. dollar to make any transfers of oil to different parts of the world. Okay, so this article is going to be discussing that, as well as I also wanted to mention how a lot of the countries in the world are stockpiling gold. So you have Russia trading in their dollars for gold. You have China stockpiling gold, and India as well, and several other countries. And this article might explain why. This might actually be the future of as we know it, and the death of the dollar. So let me go ahead and get started with the article. I'm getting this article from the internationalman.com website. China is days away from killing the petrodollar by Nick Giambrono. Okay. Not long ago, there was a popular joke in China that went something like, "Who is Xi Jinping?" The answer was the husband of Peng Li Yuan. The famous singer Xi is married to. Today Xi is China's president. He leads 1.4 billion people, and he'll likely be the most powerful person in the world soon. Trump's tariffs are part of a larger escalating battle between U.S. and China. China is rapidly displacing the U.S. as a dominant global power. This shift is inevitable. China's economy will be twice as large as the U.S. economy by 2030. This leaves the U.S. with limited options. Option number one: it could kick back and let China displace it as the most powerful country in the world. Option number two: it could start a military war with China. Or option number three: it could push the current trade battle into an all-out economic war against China. I think a full-blown economic war is the most likely under President Trump. It's all but certain. That said, the Trump administration seems to underestimate China's position in both the short and long term. For decades, the U.S. has been able to exclude virtually any country it wants from international trade. Right now, if one country wants to trade with another, it basically needs U.S. permission first. That's because for a short while longer, the U.S. dollar is the world's most important currency. The U.S. Navy also dominates the world's oceans, controlling most major shipping lanes. But China is building a new international system. Eventually, it will let China and its trading partners totally bypass the U.S. The new Silk Road is the centerpiece of China's new plan. In the coming months and years, it will include high-speed rail lines, modern highways, fiber optic cables, energy pipelines, seaports, and airports. It will link the Atlantic shores of Europe to the Pacific shores of Asia. China is expected to have its new Silk Road fully up and running by 2025. This is history's biggest infrastructure project. Now, the whole point is to completely redraw the world economic map. If it's successful, and it most likely will be, China will dominate Euro-Asia. President Xi announced the 1.4 trillion plan in late 2013. When it's done, a train leaving Beijing will be able to reach London in only 2 days. Keep in mind, the Chinese are careful, long-term planners. When they make a strategic decision of this magnitude, they totally commit. Take their road system, for example. Between 1996 and 2016, China built 2.6 million miles of road, including 70,000 miles of highway, in just 20 years. It built far more highway than the U.S. has in its entire existence. In other words, the Chinese get things done. They have the political might, along with the financial, technological, physical resources to make the new Silk Road happen. With iron-willed President Xi at the helm, I have no doubt they'll pull it off. Not long from now, the new Silk Road will help China unseat the U.S. as the world's dominant global power and totally upend the geopolitical paradigm. But before that happens, within the next couple of weeks, actually, China is introducing a way for anyone who buys or sells oil to opt out of the U.S.-dominated global monetary system. Most investors know that oil is the largest and most strategic commodity market in the world. It dwarfs all other major commodity markets combined. Every country needs oil, and for a short while longer, they need US dollars to buy it. That's a very compelling reason to hold large dollar reserves. This is the essence of the petrodollar system, which has underpinned the US dollar's role as the world's reserve currency since the early 1970s. Right now, if Italy wants to buy oil from Kuwait, it has to purchase US dollars on the foreign exchange market to pay for the oil first. This creates a huge artificial market for the US dollar. In part, this is what separates the US dollar from a pure local currency, like the Mexican peso. The dollar is just a middleman, but it's used in countless transactions amounting to trillions of dollars that have nothing to do with the US products or services. Since the oil market is so enormous, it acts as a benchmark for international trade. If foreign countries are already using dollars for oil, it's easier to use dollars for other international trades too. In addition to nearly all oil sales, the US dollar is used for about 80% of all international transactions. This gives the US unmatched geopolitical leverage. The US can sanction or exclude virtually any country from the US-based dollar-based financial system at the flip of a switch. By extension, it can also cut off any country from the vast majority of international trade. The petrodollar system is why people and businesses everywhere in the world take US dollars. Other countries have had little choice about it until now. China's gold alternative. China does not want to depend on its main advisory like this. It's the world's largest oil importer, and then it does not want to buy all that oil with US dollars. That's why China is introducing a new way to buy oil. For the first time, it will allow for the large-scale exchange of oil for gold. I'm calling this new mechanism China's golden alternative to the petrodollar. Ultimately, I think people will look back and see the golden alternative as the catalyst that killed the petrodollar. Here's how it works. The Shanghai International Energy Exchange is introducing a crude oil futures contract dominated in Chinese yuan. It will allow oil producers to sell their oil for yuan. China knows most oil producers don't want a large reserve of yuan, so producers will be able to efficiently convert into physical gold through gold exchanges in Shanghai and Hong Kong. Countries around the world would have a genuine, viable way to opt out of the petrodollar system. Now is the time to position yourself for a profit. Okay, so that's the end of the article. It kind of gives an explanation on the conflicts of what's really going on with Russia and China. Russia is selling oil to China in yuan, and China is buying that oil. China is making a deal with Iran for oil sales in yuan, and you have the U.S. pretty much trying to start a conflict because of this. If the dollar falls, the U.S. economy falls. The only other option other than war is for them to make some sort of an agreement to give the U.S. time to absorb this hit. Because if this hit hits the U.S. economy big, that's going to be the end of the U.S. So hopefully that doesn't happen. If you like what we're doing here, of course, go ahead and subscribe and like and hit the notification bell for any future updates on this topic. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.